Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Max Rappaport, and today I'm going to be testing the Doomsday matchup in detail versus Daniel Goetschel, Ghoul's a Cat on Is It Lessons to try and get a feeling for exactly how the matchup plays out, as well as the sideboard plans and what I need to be prepared for, because definitely can be a tricky matchup trying to play through all of the lessons and enchantments and artifacts that the deck packs a punch with. So hey Daniel, how you doing today?
Hey, doing good and excited to finally learn today who would win in a fight, Spider-Man or Gran Gran. We got a good Avatar versus Spider-Man fight going, and yeah, we're gonna try and find out who would win in the fight.
Yeah, test the best Universes Beyond set from the last year. Place your bets now, everybody, and yeah, let's just get into the games. So he is on pretty stock list, at least of the Monument talent builds. Definitely a good hand to start with for me. Kind of have a grand answer, even if it's a little slow, with the Day of Black Sun, and have a duress for ripping apart his important plans. Game ones can be a little awkward because I have a lot of dead removal, and so does he. But on a mulligan to 5 on the draw against duress is not a great place to start. So let's see what we can take. Just gonna take Monument because it's pretty hard to answer. Don't want to put a lesson in the graveyard, but of the hands he could have, it's certainly not the worst. At least he has no dead removal. There's a grand answer. But let's just get one of these down without taking damage. Don't have a turn 3 play already, so. Both Abandon's gone. Kept something else. Could be like a... Oh, he's on talents? How many talents does he have? I didn't even notice. Okay, so it's Monument talent and also Boomerang talent. But this Day of Black Sun is going to be real good here. I'll say that much. Maybe we can copy a Gran? Probably just want to stock up here, though. Talent gets leveled up. That's fine. And I'll play a Swamp first and go for stock up. We get Duress plus land. Just make sure we can curve out into this Emeritus. Take away Accumulate Wisdom. Don't let them draw 3. Another Gran comes down. That could be a little scary. But last card not being... Ancestral Recall is huge. Let's get our own Ancestral Recall online. A little more consistent, but a little more mana intensive. And hopefully it's not a combustion technique either. So we could play through that. Is Agnikella plus level up. Luckily, it's not the biggest issue to have to deal with stuff like that with this deck, because you do have a pretty quick clock backed up by usually a ton of removal. So, usually not too hard to be able to just race it, especially with an Emeritus. I will take Day of Black Sun. We have tons of lands, so not going to worry about that, and just take the good cards. Know where to run this Grandmother, and get in for 5. Not going to be able to prepare our Emeritus again just yet, but that's okay. Scared of Ancestrals. That's about it. It doesn't look like we're seeing that yet, and we find Deceit for blue, black. It is nice to have a way to answer problem permanence in a blue-black deck, which I think makes this matchup probably a lot better. And yeah, this one seems over. It was a mull to 5 where we had Duress on the draw, which is basically as few cards as he can start with. So, doesn't mean everything, but still a good showing to start with. Alright, sideboarding for this matchup, not something I have thought about a ton, but I do think Petrified Hamlet makes sense to come in. I definitely see games getting to a point where Agnikella plus Monument is doing pretty well into us. Strategic Betrayal seems better than a lot of other removal. Day of Black Sun, I guess with the Otter plan, doesn't seem as bad. But let's just figure out everything else we want to board in. Definitely want the Annul, the Negate, and the Emeritus. That seems like a really good plan. And I think it makes sense to keep the Doomsday stuff too. Nowhere to Run can probably go. And then some variation of like Wraths. I think the Deadly cover-up is probably the worst Wrath, because it doesn't hit Otters. I also don't know how worried we generally are about the Otter plan. I'm going to go down at least one Day of Black Sun, and then it's kind of just figuring out, I want to keep all my value stuff, which are the worst removal spells. If you take a look at Daniel's sideboard, it's a lot of Rawl mixed in with like Soul Guide Lantern, and it'll quench you. So taking a look at that sideboard, I definitely want to try and keep the Bitter Triumphs to answer a Rawl. So I think in the end I will go down a Day of Black Sun and a couple Hex, as these answers hit Grand while also doing other relevant stuff, and killing it on one isn't the most important thing, it's more just killing it before it really gets going. So yeah, rock with that. Great hand. Already up against a mulligan too, but we have kind of this late game powerhouse of Restless Reef plus Doomsday to just win the game, and then some earlier interaction. The biggest problem here is we do not have an answer to the like turn 1 Grand. So hoping to not run into that, but I probably will go for a turn 1 Duress just to get around Artist Talent coming down. Then we can hold up Negate for Monument, try and answer the permanents that get a lot of value, and then set up our own creatures. Hopefully run away with it that way. So it's Talent on 1, not Grand, so I can go for Duress. Maybe take a Boomerang if that is necessary, or can just take a Monument, or Abandon. I kind of just want to take this Abandon and hold up this Negate for the Monument, and just stop the card flow from starting. I also have this Cavern of Souls now to play around the Quench, or to get through the Quench. Otter is not applying a ton of pressure just yet, but it could get there. Okay, Gloomlake Verge is nice, so I don't have to take any damage from lands. Otter poking me. And it's tapped Steam Vents. We're playing around a Negate, which makes sense. No reason to get hasty running that out. I'll get rid of a land here and just pass it back. Ouch. Would really like to find a Deceit here. Definitely the best draw by kind of a lot. Would be Boomerang? No, just leveling up talent. That's fine. Again, would love to see Deceit here. But alas, we can now play around the Quench with this Negate. Not just going to run out of 4/4. At least not yet. Can just play it patiently. One question is, if this is Boomerang on talent, will I bounce it? I think the answer, or will I counter the Boomerang? And I think the answer is probably yes. Does get to play Monument this turn if I do that, though. Goes for Abandon. I will let that one resolve. Third Spire Bluff. Only one lesson in the graveyard right now. Not the scariest thing. Kind of just looking to get this Doomsday set up. He's at 18, so it's going to have to get answered. And so is the Restless Reef. Taking 2. Again, still not the end of the world. Let's play the Restless Reef now and pass it back. I imagine, yeah, I was thinking another Abandon or possibly even a Accumulate. but not discarding the Quench. He is going for Boomerang Talent. Let's just counter that. At this point, the aggro stuff is scarier than anything else. Another Boomerang. Fine. Let that one happen. There's land. Talent. Sure. I think I'm gonna do this now. Try and bait him into not countering it. Because I'll be tapping out. Maybe he just tries to go to outgrind me. He doesn't know about this cavern. But really, I do want this to resolve. I just also don't want to take the damage, and I'm worth risking it. Like, I think if we go for it at end step, it will resolve, but it matters a lot less if we've already taken 4 from this. However, he still might not counter it now. Like, yeah, this works out really well for us. He's still holding up this Quench, and we just get to go Doomsday. Hope that works. And yeah, here we go. Make sure nicely Arena does show you if there's anything on the bottom that you know about. Nothing here. So we'll get this Doomsday going. See if there's an answer over there. The nice thing about Doomsday is you can't really dig for an answer to it, because then you just die to not having cards in library. We also already have 2 threats that he needs to answer. We have Doomsday and Reef. And then it seems like it's going to be hard for him to like chain enough spells to kill us too, just with so few cards in library. So, good spot to be in. As soon as you draw the first one, I could also always kill my own Doomsday. There's Rawl, that's fine. Drawing 3 immediately. Okay. So, committing to the try to kill me plan. Don't think it's gonna work, though. Another Rawl. Maybe just committing to the killing himself plan? Yeah. Good game. Suppose if it was gonna end, it's a beautiful way for it to. Great hand in this second match to get us started. Got Duress, Deceit to rip the hand apart. And yeah, we'll just lead on that, try and snag a talent. There's the talent we're looking to snag. So pass it back. And yeah, given the fact that I drew a third untapped land, we can just Deceit. Probably has to abandon in response, and then we can take the best thing that he finds. So seems like a pretty good start once again. Kind of the nut draw. Duress / Hex into Deceit. Just start tearing their hand apart to make sure this Emeritus really will take over the game. There's Abandon. Probably discarding a Boomerang. Makes sense. Get those lessons into the graveyard. Now we don't want to see like double Ancestral. Happy to take another Artist Talent and leave him with some more cards that don't do a ton. There's a Monument. That's scary. But we do get to slam this stock up now. We'll get Vivero plus just another land, I think. Would have loved a cavern there. That would have been beautiful, but don't find it. So just gotta pass back, and yeah, this Agna Kela stuff is gonna start getting out of hand pretty quickly. Possible he taps out, but kind of unlikely. This Quench kind of blows us out. So again, Cavern looking really nice. Quench is a really, really good card against us. Really need to find a way to get this Vivero resolved, but it might just be too late by the time we can get there. Untapped land here would have been real nice too. So I think I'm going to wait on the Duress until next turn. Just to clear the way a little better for this Vivero, because it's really what I need to be doing. But Duress, once the Monument is already down, Duress gets a lot worse. We don't want to see draw 3. But yeah, this is why this matchup can be a little difficult. Is if they get their stuff down and they have a Quench, it's just so hard to remove it, and they take over so quickly. Even just going for a treasure, which kind of tells me that he has the stuff he needs in hand. Jeez. Just plays another monument. So I guess this turn I'm gonna go for bounce. Bounce a monument, duress a monument. Gonna give him a lot of triggers. And then hopefully next turn we can find the land so that we can do the same thing to the second one. Goes to loot now, makes sense. Probably draw 2. Yep. Okay. Then I'll cry about having to do this. Gives him a treasure. But not anything worrisome over there yet. And we only have to get through 1 trigger if we find a land before we get this monument off the board. Also find a cavern, of course. Would be wonderful. He's just going for the damage. I like that. Not something I was really considering, but makes a ton of sense. Alright. Trigger out of the way for this turn. Talent comes down. Not boomeranging it. Hex that while we have an opportunity. And I really hope to find an untapped land. We did not put any on the bottom, so there is a lot of lands available. 9 swamps, or 8 swamps, 4 Gloomlake Verge, 4 Multiversal Passage. And we do not find any of them. Which means we're just going to slam the Emeritus and get it countered. We'll see if he even goes for the counter. It does go. Makes sense. Pass the turn back, can start leveling talent, which is pretty annoying, or just, yeah, boomeranging it. But the quench is gone, so now if we find land, we can go either cover up or Day of Black Sun plus Cavero, and then try and get this Doomsday down. And combine that with one of these Restless Reefs to win the game. Jeez. So, it's gonna be getting a little harder as Daniel just storms off over there. Could even just be lose 3. Try to end this game as soon as possible. I probably have the inevitability. Gonna draw a card, though. Gonna draw 3 more cards, though. I don't know if he's even played a land. No, hasn't played a land yet. Alright, so here comes even more to worry about. Even more to worry about. Really need to find something. I guess we get to clear the board this turn and get rid of... I guess all the accumulates. Just no more big card draw. We want to lose spells always before creatures. Never know when these are going to come up. What is the most important thing to hit here? Could also be boomerang basics. Just stop the talent spam. Or it could be take the other monuments. No, I think the scariest thing for me is boomerang basics. Make sure you get the ones in the graveyard, always. Okay. Yeah. Pass the turn. Can beat the otter spam with a Day of Black Sun. It's probably going for... I would assume accumulate. That's fine, though. We just need to get the Doomsday down. Or get rid of this monument. Artist talent. Okay. We maybe just lose now. This starts to deal us 3. Yeah. He knows what's up. certainly knows what's up. Find the answer, but it's a little late. I do think we have to take the turn off to get rid of this monument. So we'll do that, and then just Day of Black Sun, x equals 0. Now we can follow up with a Doomsday and hope that that is good enough. Starts with Accumulate. There's still 2 monuments left in the deck. Drawing or getting 4 cards deeper too. Gran. Always a pleasure. 3 more cards deep. There's the monument. Probably spells the end, but maybe this Doomsday is good enough. There's 2 Quenchmane. Talent. No, it's not going to be enough. He has 3 spells to cast, so we can just scoop it up now. And, yeah, same sideboard plan. As you can see, the Agnikella was really good there, so I think it makes sense for the Hamlet to come in. Then, of course, the Duresses are great. Betrayal, I think, gets more value than anything else. And then, yeah, same plan from here. Get rid of this stuff and submit. Be on the play here. Game number 2, looking for Duress. Oh, there's Duress, but 1-lander not going to be what we're looking for. A lot of tap lands here, but I will take it. I will take it. Get to lead on 1-2 since I don't have a need to turn 1 Duress, although it is good against Storm Chaser's Talent. I think it's more important to get this stock up down by turn 3. Probably going to put an Undercity Sewers back. Right, mulligan as well for him. Yeah, let's put back the Sewers as discussed. And lead on a second Sewers. We'll take a Deceit here. Maybe you can save that for the 6-mana mode. Gonna start with Duress. And yeah, let's just take Monument. Play a tap land. I can run out this Deceit first to get the counterspell out of hand. Or I can just Duress it. That's a good draw. Try and Duress the counterspell. If the counterspell gets cast here, then same outcome. I was gonna take it with the Duress anyway. And then he doesn't get to cast Abandon. And then I can go Deceit after this. He does counter it. It's good to get the counterspell out of hand, as I would really like to resolve this stock up. Now let's see what we can take here. And get to take the Abandon, leaving him with nothing but a Boomerang basics. A lot of good top decks. 2 Lessons in the Yard. Monument's one of them, but nothing to do with that just yet. We can hopefully find, there it is, Cavero to deal with it, and then we'll go grab another stock up for post Cavero. Holy crap. That's the worst possible. Definitely. But yeah, if he does this, gonna end with 3 cards in hand, but we can just kill the Rawl. Ugh. A lot worse than killing the Monument. Okay, but with Deceit in hand. Okay, so I get to kill one of these 2 permanents. The question is, which is more important to kill? I think I want to get rid of the Monument. Although, geez, if he just has, like, Ancestral in hand, that's so hard to deal with. So maybe it's just Raw. Both of these are real hard to deal with. So I'm gonna Deceit. Gonna Thought Seize you. And I think overall the Rawl is easier to deal with, so let's just get that out of the way. There's another Rawl, so suppose I made the right choice. No removal currently over there, but it could definitely be found with Accumulate and Abandon. No mana reducer, though, is important. Yeah, if I can just attack this roll down, that's going to be a huge tempo swing. See what gets discarded. Land. The plus roll. What's the plan? Because ideally, if I can attack roll, and even if this dies, if I draw land, I can go Deceit post-combat. Or if it doesn't die, like if I just am able to kill the Rawl with this. He has played a land this turn, right? Maybe not. If he hasn't, he will play once. We were on the play. We have 5, he has 5. Okay. Just sacking the Rawl. Perfect. Now I don't even have to worry about it. And I can, convincingly Thought Seize away the other Rawl. I guess we can attack first. Be happy to get a technique out of the hand on this thing. Is Accumulate, sure. What is the scariest thing right now? Could just be the technique. Like, do I really care about this roll now? Comes down for 4 mana if you go roll plus technique. I think it's still the roll. It just has the most staying power. I'm gonna resolve a stock up now. Get to find... Interesting. I think I want to just go Betrayal Cavero. Because Deceit with Cavero hitting an Otter token is going to be really nice, and then exiling the graveyard feels like it's going to be really important here. Okay. Well, we do have answers to all this stuff. We can start by attacking. Now the question is, do we want to just Betrayal this turn? And then shoot the Gran? That kind of feels better, because it's stopping, like, all the value, and then we can try and resolve this other stuff afterwards. So he's gonna go Technique. I'm gonna go X, kill Gran. Then one of these Otters dies, but more importantly, the graveyard is gone. This is why I'm boarding in the Betrayal. Is just so good against the Lessons side of the deck. Notably, I did not take a Hamlet earlier, but not sure if it's going to matter as of now. And I'm slamming Doomsday. I don't care. Let's end this game. He doesn't have a way to mill me out, so this kills in 2 turns, and there's 2 Restless Reefs, and he kind of has to loot to look for answers, so good spot for me to be in overall. Win game 2. A start that I thought was pretty good. Then we kind of got owned for a minute, and then we got back into it. But yeah, let's keep it going. Stay strong for game number 3. Doomsday Excruciator feels very important in this matchup. I will say that. Just ending these games. Because Lesson always has the chance to just go crazy by chaining attachments and stuff together. Gonna mulligan a 6-lander. And keep this one, throw back one of the tapped lands. See what the start is for Daniel. Haven't been able to get a ton of Emeritus value yet, but I'm excited to do so. Alright, starts on Grand. We have probably the best answer to it, because we're going to be able to clear the graveyard while also killing it with the Strategic Betrayal. Will I play around Quench? That's the question. Probably not. Well, it's not going to matter. Do not even get the chance to play around Quench. Let's get rid of this Grand while we can. Stock up next turn. Monument into, or Talent into Monument, though, is going to be a beating on us with no hand disruption. Now the duresses we draw, like if a Monument comes down here, the duresses we draw are going to be pretty mid, too. Even just leveling up this Talent is really scary, because that's like 2 pieces of the puzzle already. We're going to have to find a Deceit Cavero pretty quickly to try and answer it. Storm Tracer's Talent is one of the less scary things. So let's stock up. Hope this resolves. Okay, we find Deceit. Stock up Doomsday. Do I want to try and go in on a Doomsday this early? We do have a lot to do with it. Yeah, I think we just go for that game plan. He's, like, very far ahead in terms of, like, having, the cards he needs to win the game. Found a Quench, but a little too late. Okay, there's Monument. So I might even just bounce that on this next turn. Slow him down as much as possible. Cavern is excellent. Yeah, let's bounce Monument. And then jam Emeritus next turn. Try and block into Doomsday. Try and win. Okay, there is Monument. Pretty scary, though, now, especially with 3 lessons in the yard. Because once you start triggering this, and it looks like it's going to be Boomerang to do just that, it's pretty out of control. But playing to my outs here against a really good draw from Ghoul to Cat. Just draws a card. Does he have the land to deal us 3? Yes. I assume that's more important here than making a treasure, unless you have another spell. Making a treasure. Okay, so maybe it's another talent. No. Just holding something up. Playing Emeritus. But need to survive like 2 more turns, which with Monument Talent going is really, really hard to do. This turn needs to be a pretty big whiff, I think. Or we might have to abandon the Doomsday plan. Hope to try and Ancestral into some other stuff. We do win in 2 turns, but I just worry he also wins in 2 turns usually, or even this turn. You get these otters big enough, like bounce the Emeritus, that's already 3, 5, 6, 7 damage. Plus a couple more spells, or even 1 more spell, and then just the turn cycle of Monument. But yeah, this Lessons deck, once it gets to doing its thing, it's over pretty quickly, which is one of the reasons I don't know how good this matchup is. It's pretty hard with all the card advantage, all the stuff they have. It's hard to keep them off of this for long enough to outgrind it. Yeah. Scary start. Assume treasure? No, drawing. So still digging, I guess, is good for me, but gotta find something in those 8 or 9 cards. It's true. Levels up talent. And it's just another talent for now. It's not the end of the world. If we're able to block one of these, our Emeritus doesn't die here. Which it doesn't look like it's going to. Okay. That's pretty scary, though. And now it's gonna be deal me 3 this turn, plus probably 4 from attacking, and then just untap and I die. 0 mana Soul Guide as well. So is this just lethal? This might just be lethal. Makes a treasure, yeah. Doubt there can be 2 more spells this turn. But I will be losing 3 life. And probably gonna die on upkeep, I would imagine. Have to block. We lose the Emeritus. See how long we last. Not very. Scoop to that one. GG's. And trading matches. I was up in games. Didn't feel too bad, but doesn't feel that great either. Don't think Lessons is going to be representing too much of the RC meta. Definitely something to be prepared for, though. In terms of this matchup, it felt like, from my side, the most important things are sometimes I can just win a game early if I go, like, Duress into Deceit, and then, like, Cavero or Emeritus to just kill you quickly. But the issue with that plan is your deck is just so good at top decking that, like, you have 4 Abandon and 4 Accumulate to just out of nowhere, like, be completely back in the game and have 7 cards in hand. So, like, the Doomsday plan felt, like, very necessary, at least in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from my side, it's mostly like I'm trying to get enough pressure before you can resolve the Doomsday Excruciator. Like, if I can resolve a Monument, then your Doomsday Excruciator becomes easier to beat, because if you resolve it, maybe you're at like 11 life and I have, like, you know, a Monument or 2 Monuments in play. It's kind of the same with Storm Chaser. Like, if I have Auto Tokens in play, it's much harder for you to go for the combo. So basically, like, if I have either a Monument to Endurance or Auto Tokens in play, then I can, like, threaten to kill you if you go for the Doomsday Excruciator. And also, I would say, like, a kind of a pivotal thing about your deck is you have a lot of, like, Stock Ups and Winter Knights. So it's, again, trying to just have enough pressure that I can pressure you for casting those spells, and you don't just cast them freely and, you know, run away with the game.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it's on you to try and close out the game, because, like, Doomsday is really good against you. Like, even if I don't have the land, Doomsday essentially says, like, you have to stop cantripping, and your deck just gets so much weaker if you have to stop doing that. Like, it turns essentially all of your best spells of, like, Accumulate and even Abandon to a certain extent into, like, cards you can't really afford to cast, rather than just being like, okay, I'm gonna win the game. Like, it threatens to do that, but usually the body is kind of, like, enough to do that. Like, I didn't really feel like I needed to have 2 or 3 Restless Reefs to feel comfortable to go for it. Like, I could just jam it and be like, yeah, this giant creature is probably just gonna be enough to kill you.
Yeah, like, stopping all my cantrips is pretty annoying, because, like, for example, let's say I have 1 or 2 Auto Tokens. If you don't Doomsday me, I can just draw a million cards and get a million prowess. But if you Doomsday me, I only have 5 cards in my deck, so my prowess triggers are, like, resigned into what I have. Like, there was a spot when I could have made 2 Auto Tokens, but you were at 18 life. And, like, the fact that Doomsday means I have 5 or 6 cards or whatever it is in deck means I can only cast trigger prowess, like, 5 or 6 times in a turn.
I was boarding in Negate, Annul, Duress, and then Strategic Betrayal, Emeritus, and Petrified Hamlet. Which, I don't know, like, is the Emeritus something that scared you at all? Or you were just, like, not concerned because it's so clunky?
Yeah, I think the Emeritus is, like, solid. Like, obviously there's game states where it won't look good, but, like, if you think of it from the optimistic point of view, it can be quite good, and I guess it depends what other cards you're, like, what you're cutting for it, I guess. But I think it is good for you to, like, be proactive and pile on the pressure. And it's good with, like, you have a lot of discard to try and, like, clear the way, but then you want a card to, like, turn the corner. If I'm dirtling, like, let's say I was talking about, like, I level Storm Chaser talent, like, casting an Emeritus is the kind of card that, like, would punish me for dirtling with that, you know what I mean? So it can be good at that. I would say, like, I don't hate the Emeritus, especially because you only have 2 Doomsday Excruciators, so it's not like a giga reliable plan for you. And yeah, just being able to turn the corner quickly after you follow up with all the discard seems reasonable. I guess it's, like, depends what your worst cards are. that you're siding out?
I ended up just cutting. I cut the wraths and then the hexes and the like nowhere to run, and kept in all the triumphs and betrayal. My thought there is like triumph still does kill Gran Gran, which is really important, whereas the hex like only kills Gran Gran. So I went lower on that than the bitter triumph, but it kind of felt like Day of Black Sun would have been reasonable even post board with all the otters coming in. So I don't know if I would like prefer that over like a bitter triumph or a hex.
A lot of times, like it wouldn't even be that bad for me if you board wipe, because it was
Yeah.
like, okay, if you board wipe that turn, that means you're not playing like a big creature, so then I can untap and keep cantripping. It's like I'm just putting the otters in play to try and stop you from like playing a demon or emeritus or something like that to try and have more time to cantrip. But obviously, yeah, there are spots where like I have a lot of otters in play, but like you do have like a lot of discard spells. So like if your hand has too much like discard and black sun, it could be awkward because like the discard should already make my otters a little bit worse that I'm getting less prowess. And like your guys are really big, so you can kind of just try and like block my otters in theory with like your Caveros and Emeritises.
Thanks so much for the games and the talk about after. I definitely feel like I understand the lessons matchup a lot better, even though we didn't like play a million games. It's more important to talk about it, think about it,